grew. When we started out in our business in the late 70s, we were so proud of all the wildcrafting we did and these wonderful plants that we got from the wild. And we tried to harvest consciously in being aware of what the plant's reproductive cycle was, making sure we weren't taking too much out of a patch, making sure we planted seeds if that was what was called for. So, we tried to be sustainable wild harvesters. But the truth of it is, as the herb industry grew and wild harvesting became more prominent, populations of a lot of these plants were starting to disappear. At one point, there were thousands of pounds a day of black cohosh being taken out of the Midwest.
We all want to turn the world onto herbs, but where are we going to get those herbs? We're using tons, many tons more herbs today than we were 20 years ago. And hopefully in the future we'll be using even more. I mean, we want to turn the world onto herbs. But meanwhile, we have to be concerned about those plants. I mean, we're losing a lot of plants in the wild for two reasons. One is encroachment of habitat. For years we got ginseng and goldenseal roots out of North Carolina from an old wild harvester who no longer can harvest in that field anymore because it's now a parking lot. So those plants are gone forever. The second reason that we're losing a lot of these plants is overconsumption.
This black cohosh is developing seed. And this is our mature patch of black cohosh. We planted it years ago with the goal in mind to successfully cultivate black cohosh.
So now we have a row of Goldenseal, Hydrastis canadensis, that's growing here. And this is an herb that I particularly like because it's a very indigenous to the United States. It only grows wild in America. Has a lot to do with American folk history, folk medicine. And it's taken us a long time to figure out how to grow this stuff commercially. It's still very expensive for us to grow it. It costs us a lot more than if we bought it from the wild, but we can still do it cost effectively. In fact, these plants here, you can see this beautiful red berry that's on this particular plant. When this berry fully ripens, it'll produce lots of little seeds. We'll harvest these berries and the seeds. Those seeds will be retransplanted in the spring. Also, when we harvest the rhizome, the crawling roots that grow under here, which is the part we use, we will take cuttings from those rhizomes. Most of the roots and the rhizome we'll use for making Herb Pharm's Goldenseal extract, but some of those smaller ends of that rhizome we'll cut off and we'll put back into the ground, and that way we get like a 1 or 2 year jump on the harvest than if we just planted the seed. We're very proud of this. This is something that's taken us almost 15 years to figure out how to do this.
One of the considerations is traditionally, of course, plants were mostly wildcrafted. We look at agriculture as 10,000 years old, actually more than that, but we know at least 10,000 years old. So before that, everything was being wildcrafted or foraged. And foraging, wildcrafting has a huge interest in these days of people getting back in touch with these plants and these resources and mushrooms as well. And one of the things that happens as we wildcraft or forage is there's a huge responsibility of interacting with the plants in that setting. And now that the planet has 7-8 billion, moving towards 8 billion people, we need to be extra aware and conscientious of how we're interacting with these plants.